The Arizona Cardinals should be 100% out on Cam Skattebo. Don't eat my lunch yet. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins at FanDuel. So, a little under the weather yesterday. Apologize for no show. We're back. Still not feeling great, but we're back. Kyler Murray, while overseas, said the Cardinals aren't far off. We'll discuss that. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be fine. Everybody needs to relax. Discuss that in the second segment. And first, this is something that I think should be pretty obvious, but it's not. And I need to clarify why it should be obvious and kind of just release the fact that fandom tends to be disjointed and irrational at times, which is the best part about it, and also needs to be discussed. I treat you like adults here. I've been doing that. This is going on my 9th season. I treat you like adults. This is one of those. We're going to sit around the campfire. Somebody's going to play guitar, not poorly. Somebody who actually knows how to play guitar. Not that, let me find the chord thing for like an hour. It's obnoxious. And we're going to have a conversation about why the Cardinals should stay away from Cam Scatterboo. And it's not for anything that he did. Let's get that right out the gate. It's not for anything he's done wrong. He's done seemingly everything right over the last, 10 months, all the way into the, deep in the playoffs, in the Big 12 championship game, everything like that. Okay. Like, he's been great. And the last thing the Cardinals need for roster build is a running back. The last thing. Well, why don't you take best player available? Well, we don't know how long James Conner's going to play for. Well, we don't know what Trey Benson's going to be. Are you saying that if James Conner gets hurt and the running back room is going to be fine? What if aliens invade tomorrow? You could say that about every position. Why not draft a quarterback in the first round in case Kyler Murray gets it? It's like that's ridiculous, first of all. Second of all, the place that he's most likely going to go, and this is why the Cardinals should be out on him, is probably in the third round. Like, with that said, there's always a back that goes around sooner than expected. I have a weird feeling that the 49ers in the second round are going to take him, or some smash mouth team is going to take him a round earlier because they know that he's not going to be there the next round. The Cardinals have so many more glaring needs than running back that this isn't like an Eno Benjamin situation where you take them with their last pick on the 7th round. Interior offensive line, defensive line, interior offensive line, 2 of each, corner. That's it. That's where the wheelhouse should be. Maybe wide receiver in the 3rd or 4th. Maybe. But he's a homegrown guy. No, he's not. He grew up in California and went to Sacramento State for the first 2 years of college. People wouldn't be, branding him as homegrown if he didn't do what he did last year. It's moving the goalposts. One of the things, and I couldn't understand with Christian Kirk either. It's like, oh, the Cardinals should go out and get Christian Kirk. Why? He played here before. So? He went to high school here. So what? This is football. This is an this is a company. Like, why does it matter at all? How did it go with Christian Kirk the first time? Oh, he went to high school here. They probably should have extended him. What? Would it be a cool story for like 10 minutes? Yeah. Long-term sustained success, you take over drafting a guy who, again, will be a stud in the league. but he's one of 22 positions that the Cardinals have. And 18 of them, 19 of them, 20 of them are more important than bringing in a running back. And I wanted to pivot to this in this conversation. Trey Benson showed flashes last year. This is one of the things that I revisit 2 or 3 times a year, I think, because it's apropos to certain situations like this one. Most, all NFL players never really came off the bench their entire life. College, maybe. Maybe you're sitting for a guy who's a year ahead of you or, whatever it is. But most guys come in, warm up, run out the tunnel, go play football. It's difficult for some to get momentum and get the juices flowing when they're on the bench for 45 straight real-time minutes after warming up. I think that that's kind of what it was with Trey Benson last year. Early in the season, in camp in the season, he kind of was like a baby giraffe. He couldn't really get his feel for the offense yet. Couldn't really get the juices flowing. Couldn't really get things moving. And then I can't remember what game it was. I tried, but I can't. He had like a 13-yard run where there was a huge hole in the B gap on the left side. You're like, oh, welcome to the NFL, Trey Benson. And then things were fine after that. He didn't get as much run because James Conner was a beast and he played all games last year. I think you're going to see a massive uptick in touches for Trey Benson this year, whether it be through the pass game or the running game, both combined. So say the running back room was James Conner and that was it. We're having a completely different conversation, man. And it's not even, they used draft capital on Trey Benson. No, they drafted him. Top of the 3rd round, that's cool. Who cares? It was top of the 5th. If it was top of the 5th round or the 6th round, and he produced last year, I'm having the same conversation. I'd much rather have the Cardinals take another defensive lineman or take another interior offensive lineman than draft a back. Regardless of how fun he's going to be in the NFL, Cam Skattebo is going to be so fun. Like, I'm not devoid of eyes or soul or love of football to think that he's not going to be an impact guy at the next level. This is really what it comes down to. And while it's an interesting mix where the Cardinals are now, they're getting lauded for pretty much the last 2 drafts. And this past offseason, that's what, 11, it's 8 days old. They're building things the right way. Drafting Cam Skattebo would be a luxury pick. And the Cardinals don't deserve luxury yet because their roster's not built yet. Say Philly wants to take them in the 2nd round. Yeah, luxury pick. They have everything already, pretty much. The Cardinals don't. I haven't said it in a while. The Cardinals still aren't done eating their vegetables yet. Close, but they're not done yet. If this was next year and they built out the roster and a guy like him came in, you take him. Oh, he went to ASU. Who cares? Seriously, it doesn't matter. Oh, he's a homegrown guy. No, he's not. Grew up in California and went to Sacramento State for 2 years before transferring. The Cardinals have bigger goals and bigger needs. Just really what it comes down to. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be fine. Okay? Everyone needs to relax, but I need to do a segment on it, so I'll do it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. March Madness is here. FanDuel's giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. You want to pick who's going to win the championship? You can do that at FanDuel. Good luck picking the right one. There's so many teams. I mean, the first 4 starts tonight, I believe. There's so many teams that can cut down the nets. You can go Duke, Auburn, closer to the favorites. Think St. John's is going to make a push. Think UC San Diego could be a Cinderella story for the ages. You can do it all over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com and get it on college hoop action all tournament long. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. So here's the thing. Marvin's going to be fine. A little refresher that I will never back off of, even if he becomes all pro. Not back off of like, not change my mind, but not back off of like this happened and I will remind people that it happened. 80% of the cycle before the draft last year, I was team trade back without even thinking about it. You get 2 extra first-round picks to move down to 12 or whatever that Minnesota had. Yeah, you do that because the roster was terrible still. They drafted Marvin for the last, 2 weeks. I was like, all right, fine. It's probably going to be Marv. I probably need to just shift my brain and look at all the positives that Marvin Harrison Jr. could bring, even though this offense isn't really set or in massive need for a bona fide stud wide receiver one. Obviously, every team is. Come on. But, and then after they drafted him, I'm not surprised that he didn't have 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. Not because he's not capable, but because the offense wasn't set for him to do that. He wasn't the first option. He wasn't the second option. And spoiler alert, he may not be the first option this year either. The Cardinals have an employee who plays tight end out of Colorado State, wears number 85, and he's going to be the number 1 option in the pass game unless Marvin Harrison Jr. rips it away from him. And you know what? That'd be a fantastic problem for the Cardinals to have. Fantabulous, in fact, problem for the Cardinals to have. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a piece of this offense. He is not going to be the only piece of this offense. And, I love the conversations on Twitter, in the comments here, everywhere. You DM me on Twitter, Clayton's Corner, always open, okay? The Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. calm. Oh, look at these guys ball out. Oh, look at these guys ball out. Yeah. They were number 1 and number 2 options on their team. Jacksonville had no run game at all. They had no other receivers that were any good. Evan Ingram was hurt. Christian Kirk was hurt. They had no offense. Yes, Brian Thomas Jr. is a fantastic football player and athlete. He's the best deep ball threat of the class. And he showed later in the year that he could do more than just that, which is fantastic. Malik Neighbors, stud. There's no question about the talent of those players by any stretch. Also, it was him and Tyrone Tracy, and that's it. The fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. is a third option as a rookie on an offense, that's a good thing. Why people see it as anything other than that bewilders me. It absolutely bewilders me. Having Trey McBride as your pass catcher 1, that's a good thing. Oh, he's a tight end. Who cares? He's never going to make as much as a wide receiver. That's good for the Cardinals. Oh, James Conner's. Oh, so James Conner's still playing at a high level at 30, 29, 30? Wow. That's terrible. Just needed to bring it home here quickly. We're still around the campfire. The fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't eclipse 1,000 yards receiving and 10 plus touchdowns last year, who cares? Again, it doesn't matter. For a rookie year, it was solid. Oh, they drafted him number 4 overall, so he has elevated expectations. Why? They took best player available. If Marvin Harrison Jr. was slated to go 12th, and the Cardinals took him in 4th, yeah, you can have a different conversation. He was best player available. You see him bitching about touches? No. With all that said, does he have a lot of room to grow? Yeah. Do he and Kyler Murray need to be on the same page from week 1 and not kind of sputter out like they did towards the tail end of last year? Yeah, absolutely. Both can be true. But expecting Hall of Fame numbers in his first 17 games without any sort of recourse for improvement, it's a fallacy. It's a fool's errand. It's another thing that I can't think of that is synonymous with that. The dude's going to be fine. And I'll tell you what, going into the next segment, if the Cardinals aren't far off and Kyler Murray is what's keeping them from being where they need to be, we're going to find out this season, and Marvin Harrison Jr. will have another quarterback throwing him the ball. It's not something that is something that needs to be worried about yet. I'm not even going to say yet, man. He's played one damn year. Like, the expectations for a dude to come in on a run-first offense with an all-world tight end and a very, very, very good running back, to just come in rookie season, be like, no, I got it. What are we doing here? With that said, again, he's got a lot to work on. Hopefully hit the weight room. 50-50 balls need to be his. Kyler Murray needs to throw a better ball. He's still 6'3", 220. He's an absolute specimen. He's got 2 feet down, him against the sideline. He always wins. We saw it. We saw the oh my God moments last year. Well, why weren't there more of them? Because the offense wasn't predicated around a rookie. Novel concept, I know. Novel concept. Now, with what my hope is, the next iteration of this offense, say it's just for clean numbers, 60-40 run pass. I don't know exactly what it is. Just say 60-40 run pass. Give me 57-43, 55-45. I want to see this pass game more active. And probably the main catalyst for that being able to be facilitated is Marvin Harrison Jr. Trey McBride's going to get his. Him and Kyler Murray figure out the sauce. It's on Marv to take wide receiver 1 away from Trey McBride. I call him wide receiver 1, pass catcher 1. It doesn't matter. He's the best pass catcher the Cardinals have. And he's elite. It is on Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. to facilitate the rolling out of the next iteration of this offense being more reliant on the pass. That's on them. But so far, so good. Sorry he's not a Hall of Famer after year 1. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. The Cardinals aren't far off compared to, according to one Kyler Murray. Is that true? Discuss it next.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Kyler Murray said everything's going to be fine, and the Cardinals aren't far off, and that it's on him to be better. So let's do the downside first. We've heard this every year. We've got to be better. That's just a fact. We got to be better. Everybody's got to be better, and that's fine. The downside also to this is he's got one more year. And while there's speculation on exactly what that'll look like and things like that, are they going to hang on to for 2026 also, which would be year 8? I'm still very much not irrationally, not to the point of stuck in crazy glue and won't ever move, but I'm still in the camp that Kyler Murray's good enough for this team to make a deep playoff run. Yes, I do. I don't do it often, but I compare the Cardinals to other teams. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks out there. I take Kyler Murray over Trevor Lawrence in a heartbeat. Why is Justin Herbert 100% the choice over Kyler Murray? When Kyler Murray is good, Kyler Murray is absolutely great. And Kyler Murray is a top 5 quarterback when he has those moments. Most quarterbacks don't have those moments or anywhere close to them. So the Cardinals aren't far off. It's an appropriate time for me to flash back to 4 days ago, when I said that the defense is closer than people think. 2 moves, completely different defense. Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, completely different defense. That's where the Cardinals are at. Obviously, this isn't plugging players in to make them not far off. It's winning 1-score games. And it's a lot more difficult than signing free agents. I get it. Simpatico. I get it. But they're not. Put it this way. They're not far off from competing at a high level, or they're not far off from moving off Kyler Murray. So they're not far off one way or the other. And again, with that, that's not a threat where I'm like, oh man, I'm about to shift. No, I'm still here. I still think he's the guy. And the guy doesn't need to mean Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow. Like, comparing Kyler Murray to the 1%ers of quarterbacks that the Cardinals, that the NFL has now. I mean, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. That's 16% of the quarterbacks. So the rest, are they all garbage? Something I don't understand. Kyler Murray 100% needs to be better. Kyler Murray needs to show up in big moments. Kyler Murray needs to have a sustained year of success and not just 10 or 11 games like we've seen now twice in 2021 and this past season, 2024. All those things are true. He's not perfect by any stretch. And I definitely think he's good enough to get them there. Was Jalen Hurts the best quarterback in the NFL last year? Absolutely not. They threw the ball the fewest amount of times, I think, in the NFL. So, tush push, gotta love it. It just shows, like, if you've got a complete roster, the quarterback doesn't need to save the team. And I think that's where the Cardinals are on their way to being with Kyler Murray. They're not there yet. They don't have a complete roster yet. They're still free agency. I mean, I still think the Cardinals, and I'll do, a free agent primer, like who's left, I think later this week. Tomorrow's show is going to be awesome. Tomorrow, Pro Football Focus centric. They have the Cardinals on a list, top 5 list of something. And they do their post free agency, like the first week, power rankings. And the Cardinals are in an interesting spot. I'm going to highlight both of those tomorrow. But I'll do kind of like a free agent primer, who's left. I do think the Cardinals should bring in CJ Mosley for a visit. I know he's older, but the dude's a beast. He'd be incredible for the culture. Asante Samuel Jr. is still floating around somewhere. I think the Cardinals should sign him. They've got some money to spend still. They haven't extended Trey McBride yet. They're going to do that during the summer. I don't see any world where that doesn't happen. But no on Cam Skattebo, because of where he's being drafted and because of the glaring needs the Cardinals still have elsewhere. Marv will be fine. It's okay that he wasn't a Hall of Famer his rookie season. And Kyler Murray says the Cardinals aren't far off, and I tend to agree with him. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.